The Daily News has come out with a cover, and of course they want to draw attention to the recent update in the George Zimmerman case. And their cover is a little offensive. Take a look at it. It says, "Will someone please stand their ground with this menace?" with an exclamation mark, and of course a picture of George Zimmerman. Now, I think that this is highly controversial, and I would even argue to say that this is irresponsible because you don't want to do anything that incites violence. And when you say that someone should stand their ground with George Zimmerman, that incites violence.
If you've been following the show at all, you might be able to discern that I don't have much love for George Zimmerman, right? But this is way beyond the pale, totally unacceptable. You can't have a major newspaper saying, "Will someone please stand their ground with this man?" Like, they're basically saying, "Will someone please shoot him?" You can't put that on the cover. You can't put it anywhere in the paper. Look, we would never say that on air, let alone a giant paper like the Daily News in New York.
I know.
Publishing that out to millions and millions of people. No, don't encourage people like that. This is on par, if not worse, than what Spike Lee did in tweeting out what he thought was his address. Turns out, of course, it wasn't. Look, if you start to threaten violence against him, well, then you're not that much different than him. Like, that defeats the whole point. The whole point was he shouldn't have done the violence in the first place. Yeah. Now to say, put on a newspaper cover, somebody do the same thing to him, it's unbelievably irresponsible.
If someone had covered the Daily News logo at the top of the paper, I would think that this is like a National Enquirer type publication. I mean, if you look at the whole thing in its entirety, it just seems like a tabloid. All of it.
Well, Daily News is considered by some to be a tabloid. The old school definition of a tabloid, right? But they're supposed to do real news, right? And and New York Post is out of control in New York, owned by Murdoch, and they put nonsense in their front cover. And in the past, I thought Daily News did a good job of countering that with actual reality, but that's way beyond the pale. I don't care who you think you're trying to appeal to. I mean, I don't know, maybe they think that's going to sell to a demographic or something.
I think it does. I think it does sell to a demographic, but it's still irresponsible. You don't do that. You don't put profit over someone's safety. And look, like I said, I don't care about George Zimmerman at all either, but I don't want to incite violence against him. I don't want anyone to go out and hurt him.
And they're not, look, you can make excuses and say like, oh, well, maybe they mean, somebody should prosecute him. They didn't say the government, they didn't say that, they said, will someone please stand their ground, okay? So I'm not buying it. Okay, now our views on this are clear. J.R. Jackson, thoughts, go.
Well, you have to have your, you have to be responsible. Because, I mean, this can incite something. We talked about Sarah Palin and the whole Martin Bashir and the shitting in the mouth thing. I don't think that's actually
so it's never not funny.
Yeah, I have a problem with that as much because it's not going to happen. It's not inciting someone to go find Sarah Palin. They're going to go shit in her mouth. How does that work?
I hope not. Jesus.
So it's just disgusting. But so with this, this is a problem. So I mean, if you have your personal opinion, keep it to yourself. And I'm actually wondering, what is the article about on the inside? Is it details of how to do it? I mean, this headline should lead you to read, oh, this is what I'm expecting to see in this article. What could it be about?
So you're saying that on top of it, it's probably just a misleading headline as well?
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Are you talking about
No, the article is just going to talk about the news of the thing. That's just like sensational stuff to get everybody to buy it. No, it's beyond the pale, unacceptable, and obvious.